Well, I wasn't expecting to be first. It's not quite as hot as I've heard. It's kind of cold, actually. Wow, where do I begin? I've gotten to the place where literally, and it was tough for me to find a question, actually, because I've gotten to the place vibrationally where I can move once I pose the question to the answer.
That's why you showed up for us in such a vivid way. That's that moving with desire. Question, answer, question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. Problem, solution, problem, solution, problem, solution. Desire, fulfillment, as compared to question, no answer, question, no answer, question, no answer, question, no answer, question, no answer. Come on, give me a break, give me an answer. Question, no answer, question, no answer. Not fun, is it?
No.
Question, answer, question, answer, question, answer, question, answer.
And I would listen to the recordings on YouTube, and I'm just amazed, just have the ability to have access to the information, the knowledge, to where I would just play it over and over. And so my running now has become a meditation, a time for me to reconnect with myself. And I feel, inspiration's coming to me in thoughts and ideas. And
inspiration in the form of thoughts are manifestations as far as we are concerned. We know that you want further manifestations, and they are coming, but those are manifestations too, aren't they?
Right.
Yeah.
Even yesterday running in this beautiful area, feeling the dissolution of opposites. And I had the thought that the purpose for right and left is to create a boundary for the space in between.
Perfectly said. Take it further, because you are a perceiver who takes satisfaction from what you perceive. And without some way of identifying the contents of what you're perceiving, boundaries of this boundaryless universe.
And I was running one time, and I was listening to one of the recordings, and you'd said in the recording, you'll think of the things, it'll manifest instantly. You'll think of money. And at that moment, I looked down, there was a dime, on the ground. As I was running, I'm like, oh, thank you, pick it up. And to the point where I could run then without needing to hear. I could be in the presence and feel. And even thinking about sitting up here, I was like, well, maybe this would be better for the end of the session, but apparently it's most appropriate in the beginning. But there's probably one question I have now, or maybe not so much for me, but maybe clarification, is the repetition of patterns. The last time I was here in Sedona was 9 years ago. And it was a time where I made a conscious choice of change and exploration and challenging my perspectives and thoughts about things. And that year I'd met one cousin in Colorado, and then I met another cousin here, both with beautiful views of mountains. And I had an experience where I was going to meet somebody for lunch, and I was rushing to lunch. And every day at that time, I was eating an apple, an orange, and a banana. I was rushing out of the house, and I just grabbed a banana. And I was meeting this author, a friend of my cousin's, at this restaurant. I got there early. I'm sitting there in this Nissan Altima that I had for 4 or 5 days. My feet are up on the dashboard. I bring my right foot down. I hit this hidden glove box. It pops open. There's an apple and an orange with some napkins. And all I could do was laugh. There was nothing but laughter and joy. And I must have had this car here in the warmth of the sun for days, 4 or 5 days. I don't know how long they were there. I'm like, well, this is the bounty of the universe. I must partake. So I took them out and went to some energy vortexes and ate them. And it was like they just fell off the tree. And that was the kind of life that I wanted to have and wanted to live. And so now I'm back here. I wasn't expecting to give emotion. Yeah. But to be back here now and realize that I hadn't planned any trips this year. And I'm repeating trips. I was in Colorado again visiting my cousin. And then at the end of the month, I was at the first seminar. That was my first one I've been to, the Abraham-Hicks in Orlando. I took my mom. And here I'm in Sedona. And these are all trips. I had done that. I'd been in Colorado in January and then Florida. And then I was in Sedona in April that year. And I'm like, I realized, wow, I'm doing the same things, but differently. I'm in a place really where I know there's no going back. There's no changing this feeling that I have. And the momentum, feeding that momentum is the only option. It's the only choice that I have. But the idea of repeating and the repetition of the patterns, but now in a different way, in a conscious, deliberate way, it's such an amazing, different experience to where even if I tried, I don't need the crashing waves of contrast. I don't need to be at the height of the wave and then, get rolled over by it. Now it can be a ripple. And just appreciating that and being in that place is truly amazing. I'm so grateful for your teachings.
Standing in a place of steady alignment, and then re-experiencing from continuing new vantage points, vibrational vantage points, is what you do as an eternal being. Doing it consciously is what makes it so delicious. You see, the thing that made the banana, apple, and orange experience so divine is that there was a conscious setup for it. And this is the most important place for this gathering to begin, because you have all set up so many things, and they are in the vortex, just like they were in that glove box. And being in the right vibrational place is what gives you access to the in the moment rendezvousing with them. And so it doesn't matter how long they've been there, and it doesn't matter who put them there. The only thing that matters is that you be in the vibrational vicinity to receive the inspiration to take the action to discover them. Isn't that what creating is really all about? And of course, when you're consciously acknowledging it, as you are in this situation, then it's endless, isn't it? You could give dozens and dozens and dozens of examples of the universe yielding to you with such specific, perfect timing. But the perfection of the timing is to your credit, because the universe is always peaked, it's always cued, it's always ripe, it's always ready. It's always ready for you when you're ready. We should begin calling this gathering the When You're Ready seminar.
Right.
When you're ready, Yeah.
And even as you say that, I hadn't been on Facebook. I'm like, okay, I was spending the time to actually practice, because even when I used to run, I mean, I got faster by practicing. And so I finally it's time to start stepping out again and sharing sharing the inspirations that have been coming to me. And so I joined Facebook finally, 6 or 7 weeks ago. And as I'm doing this post, expecting this apples and oranges, was how I phrased it, experience, and how I expect there's going to be even a more amazing experience, which already it's been. There's this t-shirt sitting in my bed that people have always liked, and I've always liked, and I don't know why. I bought it years ago. And it's got a picture of a jackalope on it, and this saying, really nice calligraphy saying, but on the bottom, underneath the jackalope, it says apples and oranges. Like, I've had that. It's like when you start putting the pieces together and start seeing how it flows, and it's like, oh. And it's not going to stop. It never stops.
Yeah. It never stops. There is an endless stream of opportunities for you to become aware within. Some years ago, in fact, about 9 years ago, maybe a bit longer, but Jerry and Esther discovered this beautiful place and this Oak Creek Canyon. And they had a condominium in the canyon that they were enjoying. And they were driving down the canyon one day, and it was the 16th of October, and a perfect day like this. The leaves were golden, and the sun was shining down the canyon in a particularly remarkable way. And they felt rapturous as they were tuned in. They were in vibrational alignment with the whole of who they are. And they were translating that vibration into this most remarkable of experiences. They could not articulate. They were gasping at the perfection of the moment. It was one of those moments, like opening the glove box, and everything in the world that you've ever asked for was happening in that moment. And they liked it so much that Jerry did what he often did. Esther called it Jerry's Almanac, because he was always keeping track of what happened, when, and where.
Right.
He made a note of it. And for the next 3 years, they got a bus, filled it full of friends, and drove them up the canyon on that day. Up that canyon and then down that canyon. And it never happened again anywhere near like that magical moment. Because the universe is your concierge in the sky. And your alignment is what produces those manifestational moments.
Right.
And every time you acknowledge one and reflect just a little bit on the signs you saw along the way, that's an important part of this. After the fact, I remember I thought that, and I thought that, and I thought that, and I thought that. It's not necessary that you do this for more to come. It's just more fun.
Right.
Because as you consciously acknowledge the setup and the clues along the way, it makes the adventure of your life experience, which is full of more setups and more clues along the way, until it's just a stream of pleasant manifestations. That's the way your life is supposed to be. Yeah. Really good.